Molly Mae has just released the final part of her Amazon documentary, and it's brutal.
People say, I look like an Xbox controller.
Oh my gosh.
Ah! Karma always comes back around with these things, don't you think?
You're actually driving a distance between us.
Hello, you gorgeous donuts. Molly Mae is arguably one of the most influential influencers to ever come out of the UK since influencers basically became a thing. She's got one of the most engaged and loyalist fan bases that I've ever seen an influencer kind of create. She first rose to fame when she appeared on Love Island in 2019, where she met a bloke called Tommy Fury, and they went on to have a baby together. They also became multi-millionaires after appearing on the show. Molly got huge brand deals after appearing on the show. She also launched a succession of successful brands. Whilst Tommy Fury fought KSI and Jake Paul and beat them both, but that's like beating me up in a fight, right? Like, I'm loaded on painkillers right now with one hand. Is that really an achievement? But hey, he still beat them. And years after they appeared on Love Island, their fame was just getting bigger and bigger, and it almost seemed like these two were going to take over the entire planet at one point. Until August 2024 hit, where Molly announced that she had broken up with Tommy Fury. What? Are you taking the piss, Molly? Oh, God. It's put us right off me Tango Ice Blaster, me Chinese it has. Thank you very much, Molly Mae. Thank you. She really does have influence. She ruined my day that day. But this did actually take a lot of people by surprise, and a lot of people were actually crying over this because they've invested like a lot of their mental time into Molly and Tommy's journey. Like, they were huge fans of them. Some people even took a day off work for it, which you could say is too far, but hey, trauma's trauma, isn't it, guys? Everyone handles it differently. But what was arguably a bigger bombshell than them actually splitting up was Molly announcing that she was going to participate in an Amazon documentary where she was going to document the entire aftermath of the breakup. She said that she was going to reveal everything about their breakup with zero filter in this documentary, which obviously turned a lot of people's heads. Like, somebody like me who doesn't really engage with Molly Mae or Tommy Fury watched this documentary with loads of interest because I just wanted to know, because I'm here for the drama, Mick. I just love the drama. Now, obviously, this is great for her community because they're so engaged. Like, this much access that Molly is giving, her fan base, is going to be really good because it brings them closer to her. It makes them just feel more connected to her because they might also have been through breakups in their lives. However, in my opinion, when this was announced, I really did think this was a bad idea because although she will get paid millions of pounds and I'm sure it looks good in her bank account, I just don't know in the long term if this is going to be the best thing, not only for you and Tommy, but also for your daughter to look back on. But that's their choice at the end of the day. She dropped part 1 of this documentary with Amazon on the 17th of January 2025. It contained the first 3 episodes, and she let us know that the remaining 3 episodes were going to get released around this time. And we did a full video breaking down part 1 of this, and honestly, it was really unfiltered and really raw, and it was even more raw than I thought it was going to be. Gordon Ramsay would have loved it. For people that haven't seen my video on the first 3 episodes, I'll do a quick summary of it so you're up to date when we get onto the final 3. She basically documented the stresses of producing a creator-led brand called Maybe. Now, a lot of people obviously would have tuned in because they're interested in Molly Mae. However, the main marketing for the documentary was her chatting about her breakup with Tommy. Now, when I said it was unfiltered, I really meant it because she talked about Tommy's addiction to alcohol in quite a lot of detail without Tommy being there. Tommy had no part in this documentary. He never spoke in it once. It was all kind of from Molly's point of view and how it affected Molly. She talked about Tommy's need to drink alcohol and go out a lot of nights without her. Kind of ruined their relationship and put a huge strain on them both as a couple. And although it was really authentic and she was really telling her truth, I felt a little bit uncomfortable watching it because it almost felt like we shouldn't be kind of witnessing this. It almost felt like this is a conversation for behind closed doors. Like, she was having the conversation with her mother. I don't feel like there should have been a production crew in there. It just felt a little bit wrong, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. Some people would have loved it, and that's also fair. In my opinion, they talked about too many personal things that were going on between Molly and Tommy. And Molly even admitted that her and Tommy aren't on good terms when this documentary's getting released. So you can only imagine what the watch-along party must have been like in the Fury household. Oh my God. If this was on YouTube, it would have been the first dislike straight away. Commenting fell off. Molly Mae's not what she used to be. Am I right, guys? Logging into all these alt accounts, making sure he likes it so it goes to the top. We'll see you, Tommy. We'll see you. And after watching all 3 episodes of the first part of this documentary, I was pretty clear thinking that they're not going to reconcile this relationship, because if this was me as the guy, I don't know how I would feel about all of my personal kind of issues being, you know, exposed like this without me there. But then again, it is Molly's trauma as well, and she is well within her rights to speak about it because, you know, it's her family, and if she's not going to speak about it as well, who is? Now we're all up to speed, it's time to break down the final 3 episodes of this documentary. Like I said, they've just been released, and I'd argue that these 3 episodes are even more unfiltered than the first 3 that were released in January. I definitely think Molly exposes a lot more in these 3 episodes, and you also really get to see what she's like behind the persona of who she portrays online. And there's one scene in the final episode of this documentary where I was surprised they even aired this because it's so raw. And you also get to see how toxic her family dynamics are when it comes to her relationship with Tommy and how her family feel about it. It's such an interesting watch, so let's just get into it. So episode 1 begins with Molly Mae appearing at Fashion Week, and she says that she feels really self-conscious about the way she looks and she doesn't really feel comfortable in her skin. Obviously you're gonna feel like that if you're surrounded by supermodels because everyone looks like unattractive compared to them. The woman who was organising the Fashion Week kind of like begs Molly Mae to walk down the catwalk, but she like refuses multiple times, saying that she doesn't have the confidence for it. And I think this is like interesting because you often see influencers who are kind of at her level kind of have this huge ego and have this kind of like invincibility about them as if they can do nothing wrong. Whereas you can tell, even though Molly Mae is like really successful and a huge like multi-millionaire, she still very much is kind of a normal person in a way, and she's still very grounded. She talks about how she got loads of filler done and she got loads of hate for it, and the only reason she did it was because she wanted more confidence in the way she looks. She felt like she had to reach this unattainable standard because she was on Love Island, because everyone like knew her as the pretty person. And there's one scene where she talks about all of the hate she was getting for this, and the one thing she was getting compared to.
People say, you know, I look like an Xbox controller. People say I look like a quagmire. I don't know what quagmire is.
Wow. Yeah, to be fair, I get that.
Sorry. Take away Molly Mae's relatability card. How do you not know who Quagmire is? Everyone knows Quagmire. Unfortunately. Surely everyone. Let me know in the comments. Does anybody not know who Quagmire is? Surely. What? Am I living in a parallel universe here? People told me Molly Mae was the queen of relatability. Not anymore. Strip her of her title. Take her knighthood away. She doesn't deserve it. Now, obviously, she's shown what she looked like with all that filler in her face there. And, you know, I think everyone can agree, like, there might be too much in there. But it is hilarious how people give her so much hate for this, and people genuinely were, like, giving her death threats for this. When in reality, she wasn't doing this to hurt anyone. It was just because she just wanted to help her confidence, and unfortunately, she just went too far with it. What's even more interesting is Molly would go to a lot of, like, influencer events, and apparently Molly's sister, Zoe, overheard a load of influencers like talking behind Molly's back about a filler.
Someone else famous actually was in there talking about her and how much work she had done to her face. Me and my mum walked out and the person was a bit taken back that we'd listened.
That would be awkward, right? Also, who was it? Zoe, drop the names. I'm gonna go with a pitchfork to the house. That new built house with that crushed velvet sofa. I'm gonna burn it. Who's giving our mall hate? Reveal their names. Be brave. Zoe, be brave. I guarantee them same influencers online would say that, like, you shouldn't talk bad about what people look like, but then obviously when it's away from the cameras, this is how they act. That's just a normal thing, I guess, in this industry. And because of all of these people having so many opinions on Molly, she's had to, like, seek out various kind of things to help her mental health. One thing that she shows in this documentary that she goes to is a life coach, which, by the way, the life coach that she goes to in this documentary works in the most life coach room ever. Look at this. I mean, there's a fire behind one of them. If there was ever a room where a therapist would spawn into, this is it. This is where the therapist lays their bed in Minecraft so they can spawn here at any point. This would make me open up about anything. Things I thought I'd take to the grave in this room are anyone's business. This entire conversation is filmed like raw, unfiltered, and Molly talks a lot about how she's lost her trust in Tommy and not knowing if she can move forward with him.
It's trust and respect and building up that relationship again.
that like unfortunately like broke down.
Again, like, this is great if you're, you know, in the Molly Mae community and you'll feel so connected to her here, and you probably have experienced feelings that she's talking about here. When I watch this, like, outside of that community, I just think that this is a conversation you should be having with Tommy, or having with your family or your friends, or even your life coach, just not on camera. Because if you do get back with Tommy, everybody knows all about your business, like the things they shouldn't really know. That might just be my opinion, but it's just a little bit uncomfortable that we're like just like a fly on the wall here.
Is he going to be the person that he wants? I've had glimmers of it, like when we've spent time together again and like co-parented, but like had a really nice time together.
Just taking away how unfiltered this conversation is, I think this is definitely something that a lot of people have kind of felt like in a relationship. Like, they might focus on the really good times and they want to get back with their partner because they're like, oh, when it's good, it's good. But clearly here, Molly mentally has a lot of reservations about getting back with Tommy. Like, she has her own reasons for that. So I do think it is a positive thing for people that are also going through this to kind of hear, because like, this is almost like they're getting like a little bit of therapy as well, like watching this, if they're currently going through this kind of breakup.
Huh?
He's calling me again.
Do you want to take it?
No, it's fine. He can wait.
Sure?
Yeah, makes me wait, so.
Oh, that was a little passive aggressive. Well, he makes me wait. Oh, he's fighting Jake Paul again, is he? Ha ha! Typical. The 5th time this week. Bloody hell. Who else is he texting? God, he's lining them up, he is. I bet he's doing nightclub appearances at Revolution again, is he? Oh, God. With his top off? Oh, imagine. He never texts us bloody back, that man.
You can only do your best. You can't do someone else's best.
Whatever you don't water dies. Do I keep watering it?
I think you know the answer, Molly.
It's very clever what this life coach is doing here, because like, Molly is trying to get other people to make the decision for her, whereas the life coach / therapist is kind of making her come up with her own answers to her questions. Because I can tell watching this, Molly Mae knows the answer to her questions, but she wants somebody else to kind of say it so she can kind of latch onto that. Just from watching this conversation, it seems to me that Molly Mae at this point does want to get back with Tommy Fury, but it's just all of these reservations in the back of her head which she just can't get rid of. And obviously I want to make this video balanced. Like, I don't just want this from Molly's perspective like this entire documentary is. I wonder what this is like for Tommy Fury to watch. Like, this must be a really difficult watch, and I imagine he probably doesn't even watch it because it would just be uncomfortable. Like, because his feelings aren't really getting talked about in this. I know obviously he had like all of the problems with alcohol, but also he would have been feeling down during that, and it would have been nice, like I said in the first part or this second part, to have a little bit of like his feelings come into this as well, just so we can get like a kind of like a balanced kind of documentary. I know a lot of people watching this documentary do not care about Tommy Fury's opinion in this, but I just think it would have been nice coming from like a neutral standpoint. On the way home from her life coach, Molly then has a conversation on the phone with Tommy, and they seem to kind of still have a connection.
Yes, are you? No relationship's necessarily straightforward. Mine used to be. It ain't no more.
Yeah, I think something to do with making an entire documentary about it, love. Kind of, you know, it throws a little bit of a spanner in the works, you know? Something a lot of us don't have to deal with, thankfully. God, imagine breaking up with someone and then they go and do a documentary with Amazon. You'd be like, oh, God, what about my trauma? I can't even just block them on Instagram now. I've got to see them on bloody Amazon. It's not Amazon. Oh, still got it. Never mind the painkillers. I've still got it. Okay, Am is in there somewhere. Even talking in the third person. Wow, I've made it.
Tommy, that bag is a bag that would have been cool like the day we came out of Love Island.
Why does my mind think they were talking about an entirely different bag there? I was like, wow, Tommy's really gone off the rails. Evil Tommy is at the wheel today. Yeah, Molly, I'm just going to get this bag in. You've got to take us back. You've got to. But again, it's hard to like believe the authenticity of this conversation, because obviously Molly would have told Tommy that she's going to ring him on the documentary. So it's like there's only so much of this that is going to be authentic. And at this point in the doc, I'm kind of thinking, are they trying to kind of shift the opinion on Tommy? Because at the minute, from part 1, everyone's opinion on Tommy is fairly negative. And that's because of the way that entire part 1 was kind of framed as well, right? After the money of Amazon, I thought that Molly Mae would have got the AMG G63 G-Wagon. She's still on the 400D. What you doing, Molly? Get your money up, love. Get Amazon to put a couple of more mil in the bank. Get the G63, you deserve it. Anyway, and like in the first part of this documentary, Molly's mother does various interviews talking about Molly and Tommy's dynamic and about what their relationship was like when they were together. And you can tell she feels a little bit uncomfortable, like, talking this rawly.
If they get back together, I would want it to be without the dramas.
All right, love. Well, right, that's lifted the mood a little bit. Cheers for that. Somebody throw a dead pigeon on the set, brighten the mood up a bit. Christ! Why are they trying to get back together? Everything I've heard of this relationship is just awful. Apart from Bambi, the shining light of this relationship, everything that has been discussed about it just seems bad. But you can tell on Molly's mum's face, like, she doesn't know how she feels about them kind of reconciling their relationship. Clearly, Molly must have been unhappy when they were together. The show then cuts to Molly reacting to the video of her and Tommy kissing on New Year's Eve, which released against their will before the first part of this documentary even came out, which obviously left people really confused because after this she released a documentary talking about how they'd split up, but before it there was a clear video of both of them kissing, so everyone was like, what's going on, Mol? What am I meant to do here? Am I taking a day off work to cry? Or we're good? Let us know, Mol. Me being one of them. Okay? Thought I was gonna have to get back on the antidepressants for a second there. Now she gives the people watching a little bit of clarity about this situation. She says that they didn't go to the party together. Apparently they weren't like together at the party at all, apart from 10 minutes before it hit midnight, and that's where they kissed. And apparently somebody at that party who they trusted took the video of them and then sold it to the Sun, which is pretty disgusting. Like, you know, you're in a room on New Year's Eve, like in a room full of people you should be able to trust, and one of them kind of sells you out. Like that. This is why I don't hang around with people that are like influencery kind of people, because this sort of shit happens and it's just weird. Not that anyone's going to sell a video of me to the Sun. Even the Sun would turn their nose up at me. Okay, they'd be like, we're not putting that fool on our website. What? You think we're a charity case, do you? And you can tell she's absolutely fuming that this video got out there.
And nothing is private. Even in a room full of people that you trust and that you know, people like to make a quick buck. Karma always comes back around with these things.
Oh, I tell you what, I've just got a tingle down my spine. And again, guys, I'm on painkillers. I'm not feeling anything right now, but I felt that. Christ. She was like the godfather there. You come to me on my daughter's birthday and ask me to kill a man. That was what Molly Mae was channeling there. Unbelievable. I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. She's going to hire a hitman for this person. Somebody put that on a canvas and sell it in the range because I'm going to buy it. Karma always comes round. Oh, all right, Molly. In a villain era. Gotta rate it. To be fair, Molly, if you give us like 200 quid, I'll go and slash the tyres, allegedly. I'll just nick the dust caps. Just give us the address. Right, 200 quid. Right, the offer's there. Just letting you know, me DMs are open. Okay? And then if I do it, I'll just cut this part from the video so no one will even know. I feel like this would have been a really interesting thing to explore in the documentary, like Molly Mae hiring a hitman and trying to get this person back. I feel like that would have been like just a little bit of something running in the background, like kind of like a Liam Neeson Taken kind of storyline. That would have been sublime. That would have just been a little bit of spice, a little bit of paprika, chili flakes, a little bit of garam masala in the documentary. This part is really interesting though, because we see Molly's live reaction to the Sun posting about this and it going mega viral straight away.
Oh my gosh. Molly Mae and Tommy Fury have kissed on the stroke of midnight after flirting all night.
Now, I know a lot of people watching this will have no sympathy for her, but like, this is a person. This is a human being, even though she's got loads of money and, you know, loads of followers and stuff. Like, can you imagine what that would be like? Like, just imagine you're in her shoes. This must be such a weird life, especially like, you know, she's came from not being famous to being famous. It must just be so weird that this many people care about, you know, you kissing your previous partner. Like, imagine loads of people watching this have been drunk and kissed their ex. No one gives a fuck, right? But if Molly Mae does it, it's the whole world cares about it. It must just be such a weird life. I guarantee some people watching this have shagged their ex. Still, no one gives a fuck. God, if Molly Mae done that on camera, then that really would have been used. That would have been a real, like, you know, brand maneuver that I wasn't here for. I'd rather see the hitman thing, right? I'm kind of more here for that arc, if I'm being honest. She then talks about how she won't be able to leave the house for the next few days, even weeks, because of this, because straight away the paparazzi are like outside of her door, like stopping her from like leaving her house. So can you imagine like how isolating this would feel? Again, I know no one's going to feel sorry for her, and I don't really feel sorry for her. Like, this is the life she's created for herself. This is what she's kind of, you know, she has to kind of have a balance in her life for all of this success. But it must be really isolating knowing that, you know, you can't even just go to Morrison's because people are going to be like taking photos of you, just getting like a tuna mayo sandwich. Like, it must just be so weird. Obviously, I'll never get to this like level that Molly Mae is at, but I wouldn't want to be at that level where people care this much about your life. Like, a lot of people want to be famous, but like, I think Molly Mae, if she could choose, would probably take her fame away at this point, but still have her money, obviously. Always want the cash. Apparently, according to Molly. She's got that G-Wagon, man. Can you imagine Molly Mae driving around in a Suzuki Swift? Right? She wouldn't be having that. 1 litre? You're joking? The AC not working? Ugh. I'm just speaking about my own life here. What am I doing? Molly Mae then says that all of this just shouldn't be happening.
You should be able to share a kiss with the father of your child on New Year's Eve and it not be the front page of the Sun newspaper.
Now again, I've literally just made that point before she said that. However, like, the contrary to that point is, this is why you are so famous and have so much money, because you give people so much access to your family, to your life. People feel so connected to you. So this is what comes with that. Like, when you do this job, it's a balance. Like, if you're going to give this much like access to people, and obviously it comes with so many great stuff, it has to come with an equal bad stuff. Otherwise, it just doesn't, like, it just doesn't work. There's people who are probably like 10, 20, 30 times more famous than Molly Mae that don't get as much heat for doing something like this because they don't give as much access as Molly does. But that's her unique selling point, and that's why she's so huge, and that's why so many people care about her kissing her ex. And like I said, it comes with so many amazing things. Like, she has such an engaged audience, but when something bad happens, that engaged audience can, it can be a negative thing. Molly then has a conversation with her sister Zoe in her car about the whole New Year's Eve kissing Tommy thing, and you can tell Zoe is completely like over this situation.
Did you feel like embarrassed telling me?
I only feel awkward with you because I know how you feel about things.
Like, I'm the one that picks up the pieces.
Now, this is really interesting, and arguably the most kind of intriguing thing about the second part of this documentary. Obviously, at the end of this video, we're going to see if Tommy and Molly actually do rekindle their relationship. But also at the end of this video, we're going to see how Molly and her sister's relationship really kind of deteriorates as she gets closer to Tommy again. Zoe clearly doesn't like Tommy. Like, that's clear as day. Like, the way she speaks about him, the way she speaks about Molly, like, being with him, like, she just has a negative opinion of Tommy overall. Like, they don't even, like, ever be in the same room as each other. I don't think they can be in the same room as each other at this point. Zoe constantly says that she's the one that, like, picks up the pieces when Molly's sad because of Tommy, and, like, she's always the one that Molly goes to. However, like, I feel like Zoe is a little bit... she's definitely a protective older sister, which is a great trait to have. I think she's too involved in her sister's life to the point where it's almost like she's managing her life, not her professional life, like a personal life to an extent.
You're actually driving a distance between us.
If you're on good terms with him, you keep your distance from me, whereas if you're on bad terms with him, that's when you need me.
But
you want me and you want me.
Now you can tell this is actually like a really emotional conversation. Like, you can see they're both, their eyes are a little bit wet. They're like, tearing up a bit here. And I can definitely see this from Zoe's point of view, because she's basically saying that she's like almost being used, that like when Molly needs her, she goes to her, but then when she's fine, she doesn't really bother with her. That's kind of what Zoe's making out here. And although that is not a very nice thing, like, you're still her sister, and being a sister, you just have to be there for them when they need you, because that's, I'm sure Molly would do the same for you.
I don't feel comfortable not talking about it, because sisters need to be able to tell each other everything.
right, so then I need to be able to tell you the good, bad, and the ugly.
Like, I think Zoe's, like, it seems here, like, she's like, like a nosy neighbour that whenever you come in the estate, they're like, oh, you've went for red onions instead of normal onions for your curry tonight, have you, Cam? Interesting, I wouldn't have went for that. Seems like one of them. Like, why do you need to know everything? Like, oh, how many shits you had today, Molly? How many shits Tommy had? He's had one more than you. Is that him competing with you? It's a little bit passive-aggressive, that. Just if you're asking me, a little bit passive-aggressive. He's always got to one-up you. God, you've been to Tenerife, he's been to 11 Reef.
Nothing I do or say to you is going to change what you do.
Correct. And do you know what, Zoe? That's the wisest thing I think you've ever said.
I think Molly here just kind of wants her sister to listen and not, like, kind of put too much of her own opinions and her own emotion into this. She kind of just wants somebody to just vent to, and clearly Zoe isn't that type of person. Like, she kind of wants to put her own opinion on things, and it almost seems like these two don't like each other. Obviously they do, because they're sisters, but it just seems like they don't really get on. Like, they don't really have that good of like a positive connection with each other. By the way, donuts, just before we proceed with this documentary, I just want to say that 80% of you are not subscribed to this channel. What are you doing? Become a donut today. Join the donuts on this quest for 1 million people on this channel and in this community. It's the best community on the internet. You've got plenty of videos like this to binge watch when you're bored. Why don't you do it? It's free. Join the donuts.
Yeah, I do wife my relationship with her if they were to get back together, definitely.
Like, this almost seems to me that she's kind of been a bit more selfish here, and I don't know if she's really looking at it from Molly's point of view. She's saying that, you know, it's because she doesn't want Molly to get hurt again, but there she's just said, I'm just worried about my relationship with Molly because she believes that if she gets back with Tommy, she's going to spend less time with Zoe. And really, like, that's just what you do when you get in a relationship. You know, you spend more time with your partner than you do with, you know, your siblings. That's just what happens. That's just life. You spend less time with your friends. But it's almost like Zoe doesn't want to, like, kind of give her back in a way to Tommy. But I do see it from her point of view because she feels like she's got Molly to a good place where she's, like, happy again and she doesn't want that to be sad. Zoe says to the camera quite a few times that she's the only person that, like, tells Molly exactly how it is. Like, a lot of other people in Molly's life will kind of just agree with that. But she doesn't. She just gives her opinion straight. And although that is good and it's good in certain situations, unfortunately, like, this is Molly's life, and if Molly wants to, you know, pursue it with somebody that she loves, that's her decision and she has to face the consequences for that. It's not really up to you to decide for her. Like, whatever decision she chooses, you have to just back her up because you're her sister. You can give her advice, but at the end of the day, she's going to make her own decisions, you know? You can't be angry to her for that. I know I'm over-analysing this, but I just find it interesting. Like, on the other hand, like, Molly is very dismissive of Zoe. Like, Zoe will say an opinion and Molly straight away just disagrees with it, and I wonder if that's because everyone else in Molly's life, like, says yes to her. Like, it's a bit weird for her, for somebody to kind of combat her opinions. Just trying to throw, you know, another opinion out there, really. That's the end of episode 1 of part 2 of this documentary, and then at the end of this, we get, like, a short trailer saying that Tommy is later going to feature for the first time in this documentary. Hopefully, it's a boxing match for Zoe. Okay, my money's on Zoe. Honestly, I've seen Tommy Fury box. I feel like it's Zoe. Tommy, don't beat us up again. Right, this is how I got this, guys. Tommy Fury came. He don't actually beat us up. No, he didn't. He didn't. I need to say he didn't. I don't want a lawsuit. This is actually just like me outfit. I actually have nothing wrong with this right now. It's just drip. This is just something I'm trying to catch on. So if anyone wants to copy this, just like drop us a message. I'll drop you the links. Amazon's like a $5. It's not much, but just trying to get something going here. Episode 2 kicks off with Molly reacting to all of the good times her and Tommy have had. There's videos of them kissing, not on New Year's Eve, right? The dirty dogs.
People are really rooting for us to get back together. I wish I could say what the future looks like, but I really just don't know, so I guess we'll just have to see.
And at this point in the documentary, I definitely think they're really trying to change the narrative around Tommy. Like, the first part of it, like I've said, was very negative. Now they're trying to rebuild him into Molly's life and make him look like, oh, well, you know, he's getting over his issues, like, we can rekindle this, no relationship's perfect. That's definitely the brand shift here, because nothing in this documentary is by accident. Like, Molly Mae and her advisors are very clever people. They, like, everything in this is definitely structured in a way. Like, she's got to this position for being really clever. Like, you've got to give them credit. They know what they're doing here. Like, even part 2 of this documentary dropped on the exact same day that Tommy Fury was having his comeback fight. Like, everything just conveniently falls into place with this.
I actually felt really bad because Luke Littler had just won the World Championships at Darts at 17. What an achievement. But he was literally at the bottom, like a little tiny slither of him.
What am I like? God. Luke should have been celebrated if it wasn't for me. What am I like, honestly? I can be a right tart sometimes, I can. He was just little. You couldn't even see him. You couldn't even see him if you tried. You'd have to squint, and even then, couldn't really see it, right? Luke Littler, they couldn't have made that text any littler. I'll tell you that for one. A smidge, right? Compared to me, obviously. Molly Mae, if you don't know. Yeah, that was me who's got the really good tan. Yeah, that's me. That's me. Molly Mae, more famous than Luke Littler, but yeah, more famous than him, yeah. Now, for the first time in the second part of this documentary, like, a really good point actually gets made by Fran, Molly's manager. She says that no matter what happens between Tommy and Molly, the one person that needs to be put first in this situation is Bambi. And that's what I said initially in this video. I really hope that all of their decision-making isn't down to money and isn't down to being more famous and having more followers, because they have a child now, and that is the main focus. And like this is just my opinion. I don't think this would be a nice thing to watch back as a child, like when you get older, especially the first part of this documentary where they're talking about, you know, your dad struggling with alcohol and your parents splitting up. Like, my parents are split up. I don't know how I would feel watching this. It would be it's like a Black Mirror episode. It would just be kind of odd. Now, before we get to see Molly and her sister's relationship and how that's kind of unfolding at the moment, there's like a quick cutscene of Molly going to the stables, which is meant to be a safe place, but she gets followed by paparazzi. There's like loads of people following her, taking photos of her on the back of this horse, and she actually really hurts herself and falls off the horse. Oh my God! What the bloody hell's going on? What's going on? She nearly just went through the bloody wall. Also, that trainer, useless. She was like, yeah, I'll slow the horse down. Oh, he's gone. Oh, he's gone. Bloody hell, you meant to protect her? You didn't even care. She was just standing there like, yeah. Oh, it just fell off. Oh, that's unfortunate. Like Humpty Dumpty. Molly Mae had a great fall. Put that in our book, right? Put that in the trailer for the doc, right? Thanks. You can thank us later. Don't worry about that one. To be fair, that horse has knocked down more people than Tommy Fury has in his boxing career, so 1-0 to the horse. Maybe Molly Mae should get with the horse. Actually, no, that's not really, again, that's just not a brand turn I'm here for. New season of BoJack Horseman is not looking good. But the reason she falls off this horse is because all of the paparazzi were there, and she was really stressed out, and obviously the horse can feel that, and that's why the horse kind of went rogue and just kind of shrugged her off. And it's just kind of building this narrative that Molly's life is really getting on top of her at the moment, and everything's so stressful. She's got so much on her plate that, you know, she's going to crash. That's kind of the metaphor here. I know I'm deep in this, but this is what I think the documentary's trying to tell you. After this, Molly then opens up about how hard it was raising Bambi basically by herself, because I think Tommy was in camp to fight KSI at the time and he wasn't really around, so she was basically like a single mom doing everything, not really getting any respite. And this is where we actually get like a really positive image of her sister Zoe. Apparently Zoe moved in with Molly and like was helping to look after Bambi in the early weeks since she had her, and they'd grown really close and they were almost like this little family unit. And I think this is why Zoe is so protective over Molly, because, you know, she's been with her in her most vulnerable part. Also, she's her sister, obviously, but I think this is why she's so, you know, kind of like got a solid grip on her. Like, I've saw a lot of people online are really hating on Zoe and saying she cares too much, but I think there's reasons why she does. I don't think it comes from like a malicious place. I just think she really like feels like she cares a lot about her sister. However, it's been constantly reaffirmed to us that the closer that Molly gets to Tommy, the more Zoe doesn't like it, and the more that Zoe and Molly kind of drift apart.
You did always say I would never have had a kid with him if this is who he was going to be.
You guys are being like, I had visions of me doing a nice, relaxing babe.
I definitely think like Molly in this family is the only person who is like half glass full. The rest of them are like half glass empty. Like, they're definitely more pessimistic than what Molly is. But that might be because they're not emotionally involved in the situation and they can really see it for what it is, and they know that Tommy might not be the best person for Molly. I don't really know. They just don't seem that supportive of her. Like, the producers are definitely trying to tell you something in this scene, because Molly's baking a cake and they're talking about Tommy, and whenever his name gets brought up, the cameras just pan to the family to get their facial reactions, and that's the producers trying to tell you, like, we want you to kind of look at them here because we know that they don't really kind of feel good about this. Like, they wouldn't keep panning to their faces every single time he's mentioned unless they know something.
All I'm doing is a tea party.
You've not got her an outfit.
You're making me feel really pressured about it.
Like, everyone in this just looks so miserable.
Does Tommy not want to come dressed as a tiger?
Yeah, I probably would.
Christ almighty, man. God, would it kill for someone to crack a smile? He's our own camera, man. At least fake it a little bit. Everyone's just like, fucking can't be arsed for this. Sick of this. The most miserable family I've ever seen. What's going on? Has there been a death recently? Christ. You're in like a huge mansion on telly, getting paid. At least crack a little bit of a smile. Life's not that bad. Bloody hell. You'd think they've just been robbed at gunpoint. Moving on from this conversation, Molly then has her first photo shoot with Bambi, where she's basically like revealing her face to the public for the first time, I believe. And I'm really surprised that her and Tommy have kind of decided to do this. There's a weird kind of thing going on right now. There's a lot of conversation about, you know, influencers' children and how much they should be used in content. Like, obviously they can't really consent to it. I know the family and the parents kind of have to give give consent to a certain age. But, you know, I don't want to name drop, but you see it with certain family channels that it's really worrying, and I'm surprised they kind of haven't like guarded her a little bit from this life, because they know how kind of horrible and toxic it can be. Like, they're going through it right now. But I guess that's their decision, and, you know, anyone else's opinion doesn't matter because it's literally their baby. But one thing I really do want to make a note of, like, despite all this drama, just a bit of positivity. I can tell that Molly Mae is actually like a really good mom. Like, she really goes out of her way to do stuff for Bambi. It always seems like she's there for her. I know that's like what the basics of being a mom, but she really does go the extra mile for her. You can tell she really loves her, and it's just really nice to see, because you see, you know, with a lot of influencers, sometimes it can look put on and look like they're doing it just for social media. I honestly believe Molly goes out of her way to do all of these things just because she really wants to give her the best life, and it just is a really nice thing to see. Now, episode 2 ends with another trailer of Tommy possibly being in the final episode here. They're really dragging this on. Like, they're tempting us all the time. They're just edging us. Not that I kind of am excited to see Tommy Fury, but they clearly think we are. Now, episode 3 starts off with Molly finally just laying all her cards on the table. I don't know if this was filmed like a month or two after the 2 previous episodes, but she's came to a decision that she wants to get back with Tommy, and they've booked to go on holiday together, which is like such a huge twist from not even speaking to him in the first part. She said that you don't think you're ever going to be back with this man. Now you're going bloody away with him to Dubai. Bloody hell. So is Dubai as well. I've said this in multiple Reacts videos. What is it with influencers in Dubai? Is there something in the water? Is the water #gifted? There's something in the water in Dubai where influencers just pop their clogs for it. It's like influencers are the 3 wise men and Dubai is the Star of Nazareth. They're just all attracted to it. Like, it's like a beacon that they just get like sucked into. What is it? I need to know. I need to go and try it and just find out for myself. But before they go on that holiday together, Molly is currently working in Switzerland, and she's like doing a photo shoot. And while she's like, you know, 24/7 on job, busy, all she's talking about is Tommy and how she kind of misses him. She even FaceTimes him at one point.
Do you want to see the view?
No, I'm kind of enjoying the views in front of me.
Sorry. Was that cute? I'm actually enjoying the view that's in front of me. Oh, are you, Tommy? Where'd you get that joke from? A postcard, did you? Proper nice guy thing to say. Definitely was a whisper to him, like a text before. You're going to be on camera, by the way. Get your best punchline in, right? Make them like you. Right, we're trying to change the narrative around you here. We're not talking about the alcohol anymore. Get your one-liners in. Get on Wikipedia, son. Need to up the profile here.
I want to see that face for eternity.
Why are you being silly?
Being silly, I just stating facts.
I don't like facts, Tommy. I prefer alcohol top. No, I don't. That's horrible. Whether you think that this is for show or not, possibly it is. You know, like they've put the camera up and they've put her in the corner. Like, it's very clearly fabricated to do this FaceTime call for the entire production. But you can tell that Molly really does love Tommy. Like, even when she's away in Switzerland, you know, working, she's constantly thinking about him. And I think that's something that a lot of people can kind of relate to. Even if you've split up from an ex, like, it's really hard to forget about them, because if you shared so many memories with someone, especially you've had a baby with someone, like a life-altering thing, that's such an mad experience to have. Like, you've got a child who is half of you and half of them. Like, you can't just forget that and switch that off. And when you look at the documentary like this, it is just kind of 2 people just working out their relationship, like taking away all their money, taking away all their fame. Like, there is stuff that a lot of people can relate to in this. It's just so clear that Molly desperately wants to be back with Tommy.
Maybe if this carries on, the next thing you know, we've had years go by of just being this consistent, amazing couple that I know we can be.
Like, you can tell Molly's definitely speaking, like, emotionally here. Like, she's speaking with her heart rather than her head. Like, she probably has these reservations, but she's speaking, like, optimistically. Like, very, like, glass half full. She's like, I know how good we can be. If this happens and this happens, then we'll be really good. And she's probably putting all of her insecurities to the back of her head and letting, like, a kind of heart just take over, which is definitely something a lot of people are guilty of. Like, everyone's been guilty of that, like thinking with your heart rather than your head. And I actually want it to work out for these 2, because it's just like, obviously it's just better for, you know, their daughter if they're together. Like, it's a better quality of life in my opinion, only if they're happy, obviously. But I do just wonder, like, when they move back in together and, you know, they start getting back into their normal routines, will they just slip back into how they used to be? Like, what there actually needs to be changes in their relationship for this to work. otherwise it's just going to end up the exact same like what Zoe says. God, look at me like breaking down two people's relationship. Is this weird? I don't know. I mean, they've made this documentary public and, you know, it's up for interpretation. Molly then gets home and she says that she's going to start moving a lot more of Bambi's stuff into Tommy's apartment, and she's going to spend more time like sleeping at his house, basically just getting closer and closer. I think they're taking like baby steps to basically confirm that they're back together. She then organises like a pop-up coffee shop for our brand Maybe, and after doing this she has a conversation with just her and her dad, and she really opens up to her dad about Zoe and how she doesn't really like how Zoe's going around the situation of her and Tommy getting back together.
With Zoe, it's like I avoid spending time with her because sometimes she's just so like grumpy.
Now, I want to ask you in the comments, because I'll give my opinion numerous times in this, like, how would you feel if you were in her position and you had a sibling or like a best friend who was constantly giving you negative opinions? Like, how would that make you feel? Like, obviously you believe it's coming from a good place, they're looking at it from your point of view. However, I feel like constant negativity is just draining. It's going to be really, really draining, especially if you and Tommy have agreed to put like everything in the past and like start fresh, and that's between you two. If you've constantly got somebody else bringing up all of the bad stuff, that is going to make you, you know, want to spend less time with them. And like Zoe says, Molly's spending less time with that. It's probably not because she's spending more time with Tommy. It's because the more time she spends with Tommy, the more negative Zoe's being. So it's kind of like Zoe's creating her own rod for her back here. Is that the saying? I don't know. It is now, right? Someone put that on a poster.
And people around me might think like, you know, she's crazy. They'll also see that my happiness is coming back as well.
I don't understand. Like, why would we think you're crazy? Like, you've told us some really, really, you know, specific things about what Tommy has done, but I don't think you're crazy. Like, you're acting as if he's killed a man here. Like, you're getting back with the murderer. Like, what is so bad about this bloke? Like, genuinely. Like, he's messed up and he's done, like, stuff that, you know, you can be angry at him for, but you're making out as if he's Ted Bundy here. I don't think you're crazy for this, love. Like, is this what Zoe's saying? Molly then says that Zoe wants to meet up with her, and she's actually got, like, a surprise event that they're going to. Knowing Zoe, if it's a surprise event that Molly's not allowed to know what it is until she gets there, I imagine it could be a Tommy Fury exorcism party, but don't quote me on that. He's just strapped to the bed. I promise I won't take me top off in Revolution again. I really do promise this time, Molly. Now, there is a really big argument coming between Molly and Zoe, so stay tuned for that. However, the thing that Zoe has organised for them to do is Irish dancing, and they kind of like reconnect doing this. Like, it's something fun to kind of take the edge off the conversation they're going to be having later. I feel like they should just have it whilst they're doing the Irish dancing. Just like, what better way is there to sort out a feud than arguing whilst dancing? Just be like, yeah, right, I don't like Tommy, think he's a bit of a prick, right, I'd give him fucking one of them, fucking go on, right? It's just much more funner than sitting down and staring into their soul. That's how all kind of arguments and debates should just be settled. Just dance-offs, and whoever is the best dancer, their opinion's the most correct. Imagine how much better the world would be. No need for wars, just dance battles. Every person sends their best dancer. I will be in the queue to represent Britain. Okay, just saying. I do practice in the mirror, guys. Right? I am getting better. Before we see the footage of Molly and Zoe having their big argument, Molly's mother actually, like, she gives us a little bit of insight into how Zoe kind of oversteps with Molly. By the way, got to say, like, how clever Amazon are. Every single advert in the Molly Mae documentary is Molly Mae promoting a product. Unbelievable.
Zoe always wants the best for Molly, and Molly doesn't always want Zoe's help, guidance, interference.
Like, that tells me all I need to know. Like, the way she, like, cringed when she said interference, she believes that Zoe kind of oversteps. And honestly, I definitely agree. Like, I think that Zoe's just seems a little bit too obsessed with Molly's life. I don't think she wants Molly's life. I just think she wants, like, a little bit of to feel like she's got a little bit of control over it, to feel like she's kind of mothering our baby sister. I feel like it comes from a good place, but I feel like she needs to rein it in a bit. Like, if I had an older sibling who was constantly trying to make my decisions for us, it would just feel really kind of overwhelming and I would feel suffocated and I probably would pull back from them. Okay, now on to their argument, which has constantly been foreshadowed in this final episode. They first start talking about Tommy's drinking problem, which I'm pretty sure he would appreciate greatly. Not being there, obviously, always a great conversation to hear about yourself.
Has the drink gone away like forever?
No, I don't think the drink's gone away forever.
I think if the drink's not gone away forever, then the problems could potentially arise.
Yeah.
I don't like the way that they talk about... I've said this in the previous video I did on the Molly Mae documentary. I don't like the way they talk about Tommy's drinking problem. Like, they treat it as if it's like a little bit of a trivial thing that he can just kind of turn off like that. Like, drinking is a real issue. And people can't just kind of turn it off. Like, he can't just one day go, okay, I'm not going to drink. Theoretically, he can, but it's a lot harder than just making a decision. And clearly, you know, definitely Zoe hasn't been through this and Molly hasn't been through this. So I don't feel like they understand how hard it possibly is for Tommy. Like, I've heard Tommy talk about he's really struggled with his mental health and drink just softens it and it's just helped him. Obviously, he does need to, you know, give it up or just kind of have it for enjoyment rather than relying on it. But I feel like they just don't have any sympathy to him for it. And I know a lot of people said in the comments of my first one, like, you shouldn't have sympathy for people, like they're just destroying their own lives. But just knowing people who've been through it and also been through it myself, like, it's a hard battle to kind of get over. But if you want to be in a relationship with, you know, the person you love, you do need to really try to get over it.
I think the breakup showed Tommy that I'm serious.
I actually think that's a really important point by Molly, because Tommy probably thought, like, oh, she'll never break up with us. So, like, this could actually be, like, a turning point for him, where it's kind of like a light bulb moment where he's like, okay, I've got to kind of get me shit together now. So I do get why she kind of would feel that this is, like, a turning point in their relationship.
He's a lovely, lovely person. He is. He makes me laugh. He's polite, kind, he's a great dad. I'm happy to move forward with Tommy. And
that was the first positive thing that she said in this entire documentary, in both parts. Way, finally, Christ. Wow. Thank you. That was the first time that she's went, okay, it's your decision, Molly. I'm going to back you. I think he's lovely. I'm willing to give him another chance. That's all Molly wanted to hear. Look at the smile on Molly's face. It's the first time we've seen a smile on someone's face in this documentary. And unfortunately for Zoe, if she doesn't actually agree with this mentally, this is what she has to do if she still wants to keep the relationship with Molly. Because can you imagine, like, being Tommy? He's not going to be, like, feeling comfortable being in the same room as Zoe and vice versa, knowing, you know, they don't like each other. Like, how are they meant to chill at, like, family gatherings? It's just going to be so awkward. Unfortunately, the main person that you've got to think about here is not Molly, is Bambi. And what's best for Bambi? And is Molly happy? Is Tommy happy? And then that's the end of it, and no one else's opinion really matters, to be honest. Not even mine. Oh, self-roast. Wow. Bet you didn't expect to get that. What? I don't know what I'm saying now. It's the painkillers talking. The doc then ends on this positive note, and it basically shows Tommy and Molly's holiday together with Bambi. It shows various photos and videos of them having a great time. And, like, this is what I thought it would kind of gear towards when I first started watching part 2 of this. They definitely wanted to change the narrative to you kind of rooting for Molly and Tommy again in a way. And, like, coming from someone that isn't really, you know, in the community of these people, I don't really have any sort of feeling towards their relationship. I don't really root for them. I don't root against them. I kind of just want them to be happy and just kind of move on from this. But I don't know what the kind of overall kind of goal of part 2 of this documentary was, if I'm being honest. Like, that's my overall conclusion of it. I feel like it could have been all mashed into 3 episodes in just one part and just kind of stretched over. I don't feel like it needed this many episodes. I definitely think they were trying to go down a Kardashians kind of route of getting the whole family in, kind of creating characters around every single person in this family. However, I just don't feel like anyone else other than Molly is that engaging in this documentary. Like, I feel like Molly is the only person that is, like, really that watchable and that likeable, if I'm being truly honest. We got teased that Tommy Fury could possibly be in this documentary. He was only in it really once when he was dropping his child off for our birthday party. So I wonder if, like, season 2 of this Molly Mae documentary is going to be, like, based on Molly and Tommy's relationship and, like, how they're kind of rekindling it. I can see, like, scope for that, and I think that would be a lot more interesting. I feel like this could be quite a good like reality TV universe if they paired up with Tyson Fury and his wife, because she's like amazing. Paris Fury, like their documentary on Netflix was really, really good. I really enjoyed that. And the fact they're related, that could be like a really good kind of scope here. I feel like that would be a lot more interesting than just having Molly's family in it. However, without the kind of feud between Molly and her sister, I feel like part 2 of this documentary might have been a little bit boring, if I'm being truly honest. Like, Zoe did kind of make it a little bit more fiery and have a little bit more of like an alternate opinion in it and going against the script, so it did make it a little bit more watchable. I just feel like 6 episodes was too much and they didn't really need that many episodes. And there was a clear narrative with part 2 to patch up Tommy's reputation. I've mentioned that loads of times already, but it's just clear to see. It's definitely not a documentary that I would watch again. However, I am happy that I have watched it and covered it, because I did find certain kind of dynamics interesting to kind of break down. I mentioned that on the same day this documentary was dropping, Tommy Fury actually won his first fight back, and he dedicated the win to Molly and Bambi. So it's very clear that they're kind of full steam ahead with repatching their relationship to the public. And yeah, let me know what you thought of my coverage of this in both videos. I have enjoyed this, and if you want me to do any other kind of coverage of documentaries, let me know, because I'm fully up for it. If you do want to watch part 1 of this documentary, click here, because this is my coverage of it, or watch a brand new video from me right here. And I'm just gonna let this end this video.
Molly Mae and Tommy Fury are back together. I'm happy for Molly and Tommy. I'm happy for Molly and Tommy. I'm happy for Molly and Tommy.
Kirkham, baby.